Welcome back, everyone. Today, we are tackling one of the most critical yet often overlooked components of high level language acquisition, the affective filter. Take a look at this student. She is what linguists call in a state of optimal receptivity. She isn't just listening, she's experiencing the language. Her emotional state is calm, her ego is out of the way, and consequently, her brain is functioning like a high performance engine, effortlessly processing and internalizing the nuances of the language she's listening to. However, we often encounter what I like to call the performance plateau, frequently driven by anxiety bricks. At the C1 level, the stakes feel higher. You feel like you should be perfect. And that pressure creates a massive internal weight. Notice her eyes. She's hyper aware of her surroundings. This self consciousness is a form of cognitive interference. Instead of focusing on the communication, she's preoccupied with the fear of sounding incorrect or unrefined. Next, we have the silent killer of fluency, chronic boredom. Many advanced learners get stuck in a loop of academic study that lacks any emotional resonance. They're trying to perfect their grammar by studying books very hard on the English language. But this boredom brick creates mental fatigue that makes it hard to remember anything you study. When your brain isn't interested in the content, it effectively unplugs the connection and stops absorbing the information. You can read 100 pages of a grammar manual over and over, but without an emotional hook, it's unlikely that that information is really going to set in. This brings us to the core of the affective filter hypothesis. Think of this bridge as your neural pathway to native-like fluency. On the other side is the promised land of effortless expression. But look at this obstacle. This glowing red wall is the physical manifestation of your emotional state. If you are stressed, bored, or defensive, this filter rises, acting like a literal barrier that prevents comprehensible input from reaching your language acquisition centers. You can see the goal, but you're physically blocked from it. Let's analyze the anxious brain in detail. Notice the monitor is running at 100%. She's constantly checking her internal grammar dictionary, second guessing her word choices, and worrying about her accent. This creates a huge mess in the brain. The linguistic data is trying to get in, but it's caught up in this web of anxiety, so she can't focus on actually absorbing the language. At the advanced level, you have to learn to let go and let the flow state take over. Now consider the boredom helmet. This is what happens when you settle for standard learning materials rather than compelling ones. This helmet represents a state of passive disengagement. The teacher's voice, the audio files, it all becomes white noise. It's physically impossible to acquire a language if your brain is actively trying to tune it out because it finds the topic tedious. You're essentially wearing a fluency-proof suit. But here's the breakthrough. Look at the shift in energy. She's no longer studying English. She's consuming a movie. She's lost in the narrative. She's laughing. And herself has stepped out of the way. This is the power of compelling input. When the content is so interesting that you forget it's in English, the filter cannot sustain its integrity. You can see the wall beginning to shatter, allowing for deep subconscious acquisition of the language. This is the success mindset in action. This is a person who understands that language is a byproduct of enjoyment. She's created a sanctuary for language learning. She has her coffee, her noise-canceling headphones, in a story that captivates her. She's lowered her cortisol levels, which has a direct positive impact on her memory and cognitive flexibility. She's no longer fighting the language, she's inviting it in. And finally, the ultimate result. She's crossed over the bridge to English fluency. She's in a sunny park, talking in English with friends comfortably. She isn't performing, she's just being. Her speech is spontaneous, her idioms are natural, and she's fully present in the conversation. This is what happens when you prioritize the effective side of learning. By focusing on your emotional state, you unlock the door to effortless high level English. Remember, your mindset is your most powerful tool. If you're stressed, it will block your learning. If you're having fun, you're winning. If this perspective resonated with you, please hit that like button and make sure to subscribe so you don't miss any of our upcoming videos here at Mama's Fluent English. And I'd love to hear from you in the comments. How do you turn off your internal grammar monitor? Keep listening, stay relaxed, and I'll see you in the next episode.